Take a look up in the sky sometimes. Cloudy on one side, bright on the other. Just had a little rain pass through. And I'm watching a video called now the Bible. And you know, gives me inspiration, gives me hope. And do you remember the story of Exodus? I saw the one with Charlton Heston and the one of Moses. That was a beautiful story. And do you remember the story in the biblical account of Exodus? There's something interesting that you should know. When the Exodus happened, first notice, because you always hear the saying, you may have taken them out of the land of slavery, but you got to take the slave out of people. When the Exodus happened, do you remember how long it took for them to get to the promised land? Now, we're told you could have gotten there in a much shorter period of time, but because of unbelief, complaining, murmuring, backbiting, fighting, just always the mixed multitude, always the drama, they didn't make it there as they're supposed to. And many of the people who complained so much and griped so much, God permitted them to die off in the wilderness and let their children go into the promised land. Amidst a whole set of stuff, God brought a victory to them. But the battle never ended. Think of this also. When Moses asked God, can we take them to the area that is more peaceful, that area that is much more quiet, that area that is much more, just a quick path, a nice solid path. God said, no. I think they were supposed to pass next to the Edomites, and they fought other people, tribes of Ai, the plains of Jordan, a lot of people, but mostly the Philistines. And remember, God told them, you got to go up to the land. They want to go to the promised land of Canaan, into Jerusalem, city of peace. But to get to peace, they had to go through some times and some wars, some battle. God said something interesting. Listen to the thunder in the back rolling. Very apropos. God said the people have to learn to fight. Now, I'm not advocating violence. I'm not advocating stuff like that, but you got to think about this. You're in the middle of a war, okay? And I told you, we don't wrestle against flesh and blood. So anybody say, this is promoting violence. No, I'm not promoting violence. If you're going to be violence against evil spirits. Okay, because people are thinking, no, you're just talking about stuff. I'm not here arguing people. What nationality? If you don't look at the video, do you know what nationality I am, besides the accent? I'm advocating a godly, spiritual, healthy. Well, who is the jihad? No, you know jihad. Well, depends. What's a jihad? I mean, in Islamic terms, it means something. But in God's terms, I call it the plan of salvation. And it doesn't involve going in offensive violence against people. No, that's not God's way. Because remember when Peter took the sword and cut off their high priest servant's ears, God said, no, put your weapon up. If he wanted to, you can call legions of angels to go and destroy the people who are taking him. I told you about the dragonflies and the spiders. If you can really see this, see what I'm seeing. I'll turn the camera around so you can see it. But look at the dragonfly on top of let me see if it stays still long enough. Hey dragonfly, are you sleeping after the rain? Amazing creatures. But God told Moses, the people have to learn how to fight. When they were on Mount Carmel with Elijah and Elijah, right? They have to learn to stop halting between two opinions. They have to learn to speak up and stand up for themselves. Now here I say this. Why is this talking now? Look at the timing. Look at the timing. What has happened to the world the last couple of years? What has happened to you guys? For those who are at least of age, I'm in the 40s, but those who are even younger generation are seeing things now. What is going on with the world right now? We want to get to that nice, beautiful patch, if you can see, am I pointing correctly? That nice patch of blue right there. We got clouds all around us. You ever heard of something called the winds of strife? Read Revelation in the Bible. You got some winds of strife that are being held back in check, ready to blow. Okay? And I don't mean just blow like tornadoes, tsunami, a little wave. No. Strife means persecution, drama, Cain and Abel, a lot of stuff. I'm not saying we're not the one advocating violence, not advocating stuff. No, we're just saying if you're not careful, you're going to be caught off guard. Like with Noah's flood. They call it Noah's flood, right? But God used a flood of water to destroy the whole earth because the violence had increased so much widespread around the land. The whole land was wicked. God said it repented him, that he pained him that he made man. Mankind, so wonderful, so great, so special, so unique, so interesting. I mean, look at them in the Tower of Babel. They could do so many things. But even after the flood, they still went ahead and did the same thing. Prior to that, doing drama. Oh no, the corner's rusting. We gotta pick these things and make them good soon. We gotta get them be ready before they turn no good. Okay, it's still good inside, but we gotta harvest them soon. Well, the disciples asked Jesus, Lord, when shall our kingdom be? And God said, oh man, the harvest is ripe, but the laborers are few. Look around, the harvest is ripe, but the laborers are few. Right now it's only I and I. But no, not I and I, just figuratively saying and this thing. But there are other people ready to do the work. Other people are working right now. And you too. You need to get involved. If you're watching this, you're thinking, well, I'm just gonna sit back and nah. If you're thinking, I ain't asked for this, let me tell you something. There's only gonna be two sides in this one. Only two sides. Those him or her that are on God's and him or her that are on the other. And the other means anything unlike God, anything not following God's will, not God's purpose. Yeah, by default you'll be in that class. But I don't believe in a God. You don't have to believe. Just do the works of your Father. And if it's good, it'll come out to be good and God will be appreciative. If it's bad, then you fall in the wrong one. So what am I saying this for? The people have to learn to get the slavery out of their mind and start thinking again for themselves. You hear a lot of it in reggae music, conscious vibes and all this stuff. Come on. The harvest is ripe. The harvest is ripe. What do you mean by all this stuff? What do you mean? You promoting stuff, people say, oh, don't say nothing, you don't jump the gun. You don't want to jump the gun. Well, you look around you, people. Signs of the time, look around. People can say, no, we don't want to bring calamity upon ourselves. No, I ain't trying to bring calamity upon ourselves, and I'm not trying to predict when God's going to arrive, when he's going to come. But the signs tell us that he's coming back very soon. He said, look at the pineapple trees. We have these pineapple things in our garden. All these things tell us, they have a certain expected time. You put some effort into them, they grow. And then, now, if for some reason it seemed like somebody must have tripped the switch, somebody must have said, it's over, it's wrapped up. But again, if we're not fighting against flesh and blood, and the devil's been around for a long period of time, he was in heaven before and kicked out of earth during the heavenly battle and war. If he got kicked out, then he must have something. He must know there's something writing on the wall. You remember like Nebuchadnezzar and Shadrach? I'm not Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. But Belshazzar, when he tried to drink from the golden goblets in the thing, I'm trying to give glory to gold and everything else except God. God is not mocked. You don't dare. I try to get upset when people try to talk about God and try to disrespect him. You don't dare try to say things about God that God is not telling you about. You don't dare try to sit there and say, well, God, he won't do such and such. Oh, you think not? Have you forgotten Noah's flood? You think not? Have you forgotten all the stuff that God has done? When God acts, he acts. When God steps in, he steps in. Don't play around with this God. It is a terrible thing. It's a very frightful thing to fall into the hands of an angry God. Do not upset him. The cup of earth's indignation, the cup of earth's sin, the cup of earth's violence is rising to the level where it's like, signs of the times tell us that God's about to return much sooner than many people think. I imagine. And he said before he comes, he'll always send his people, the servants. And he did. White and many other good people, good pastors and good, pastors and people speaking from all around the world, missionaries doing good. But the thing is, you see, when something happens around the world, it doesn't necessarily happen where we are aware of it and see it. Many things happen, quietness and stillness, but it doesn't mean that it's not there. Look, there's life here. Hey, you two, get a room. but it's okay, But, and again, remember God said, as a thief in the night, life will be going on as nothing. They'll be eating and drinking and just living life, marrying, giving in marriage, all that good stuff. Well, they say, how is he doing this? What's this? And again, the words I speak are only those of my own. I don't speak on behalf of anybody, corporation, industry, endorsement, product, anything. No, I speak only for I and I, only me. Okay? Whatever God lays on my heart, I speak. Okay? And why? This is the Sabbath. I'm talking about this stuff because I think it's time for us to understand. The Sabbath was made for man, not man for the Sabbath. The Sabbath is a time to reflect and to spend time getting some rejuvenation, some inspiration, some time with God. Amidst the storms, let me show you the storm. Amidst the storms out there, all that stuff you see there, all that stuff there, I want to get to that blue. I want to get to that blue stuff. I want to get up there. I want to get up to the blue stuff. But we got to pass through the storms of strife and affliction first. All the storms you're going to face. All the storms you and I are going to face. Hey, the devil don't like us. I don't like him either. Nothing new. Okay? He's been trying to destroy us since the beginning. Why? Because his time is out. He's losing. He already lost. I saw Satan like lightning fall from heaven. That must have been a sight. And yet we see all these things and we still don't believe. We just think we're living for the moment, like everything is just as is. But look at something else. You're getting updates to the kingdom. These are all All the plants, they were all small and little bitty before I showed you, right? When they couldn't find a way to get to the anchor. They're all anchored inside there. Now look, now they all anchored, banded together in unity. Now they all starting to reproduce. They can't go anymore, but they start making fruits now. God tells us we need to band together and start producing fruits for the master's liking and for his table. And while we have many things trying to feed on us and eat on us, like parasites, they're not calling ants parasites, they're just doing their job, so no offense against them, but I mean this in general, when we have bad things in life, things trying to take advantage of us and try to do harm to us, God's like, you got to be anchored into the ground, the sustainer of all good things. You got to keep producing, you got to keep talking, you got to keep talking, in season, out of season, you got to do your work. So I'll tell you this much, we have to learn to train our minds differently and learn not to just accept what's given to us, but to question everything and do what God's asking. Because the storm, like the thunder here there, and there's no special effects on this one. There's no special effects here. Okay? God is speaking. The world better listen. Because this time is not going to be just with a flood, with fire and brimstone. There's a storm about to hit this world in such a way that they said you could not even pen or write it down how bad it's going to get. Do you know what that means? If it cannot be put into little language that you can actually... Read Revelation again, please. And read the book of Daniel also in the Bible. I like to read the King James Version, but, maybe I should, by the grace of God, do more Bible stuff like this. But I like to kind of just talk about life and this, show you how it all blends together. I remember I said it's all the same thing, all together. You cannot separate one from the other. Well, how I talk about religion and the cars and stuff and this, because those cars and stuff and things about places to go, trips to make, those are just material things. Those are just memories and events there. They're important. They're significant. They tell us that they're beauty. Remember God said the heavens declare the majesty of God. I'm going to paraphrase. Heavens declare the glory of God. The earth showeth his handiwork. If you look around you, everything here is just a little glimpse of God's. And this is one small garden. Have you seen the oasis of things around the world? The heavens declare the glory of God. Yes, he's declaring it. I'm like, so speak it. Don't be shy to call the name of God. Jesus is good. Jesus is Lord. So if they start flagging and doing these things, I hope not. But I'm saying God will let and permit until it's time to, to not let anymore. So get ready, people. By the grace of God, let us not be found wanting. Let us not be found idle. Let us not be found, you remember the 10 virgins, right? The parable of 10 virgins, 5 are wise, 5 are foolish. The 5 carried extra oil in their lamp for the long haul, waiting for the bridegroom to return for his bride, the church, us, all of us, by the grace of God. But if we tend to fall asleep, as everybody tend to kind of get lulled and sleep, and forget to pack extra nourishment, extra spiritual messages, extra lessons in our mind, extra things in our hearts, we're gonna miss that appointment with God, and it's not gonna be a very pleasant thing to know that God made all this preparation for us. The heavenly banquet table. And we all have questions. I suppose I don't believe in God. I'm supposed to believe in something else. So, I hear you. But listen, before you turn the channel, before you say, I don't want to hear this stuff, just hear it out. And at the same time, go back in history and question it. You may say, show me, prove to me there's a God. I say, no, other around. You prove to me that there's not a God, and you see that there's a God. Because look around you. Listen to you. Listen to this. Look around you. Who could have done such and such? Give credit what credit is due. We read books and periodicals and watch videos and everything with documentaries saying, yeah, I believe it. Yeah. We take it for school and studies. Yeah, I believe. Yeah, I believe it. And one guy says, okay. We say, nah, this is thunder. No, this is thunder. I didn't hear nothing. God is speaking. He's speaking. Please listen. We're running out of time. By his mercies, I pray this message get to you. Take care.